Hey everybody, this is Jason Akers with Green Acres Pest Control. Today I want to talk about how you can do your own pest control, how you can be effective at eliminating things like bed bugs or cockroaches or even fleas. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you really like it, think about subscribing to my channel. Now this might be a little long. I'm not sure. It just depends. There's a couple things I want to talk about today, and I'm not really sure how long the video is going to go for. I have started doing premieres. So when I put my videos up now, I put them up at a time where I can meet with you online and talk while the video plays. So if you're watching the video, it's kind of like a live stream, but not quite. The way it works is a chat window will come up and I see all of what you talk to me about. So if you have any questions or anything like that comes up at any time when one of my videos is going live, you could talk to me about it. I'm going to start tweeting out when my videos are going live. I'll also use the YouTube has a community tab. I use that a lot. I do polls there and I always ask people for their feedback there. And so I'm going to start posting like thumbnails and stuff like that to my next video in the community tab of YouTube, along with what time the video is going to be released. This way I can sit there and I can talk with you. I'm also going to start doing live streams every last Thursday of the month, whether it's the 4th Thursday or the 5th Thursday, just depends on how the month lines up. This is also to answer your questions. The reason that I'm doing this is because I get phone calls every single day. I get hundreds of phone calls a month because people want to know how to get rid of bugs. They want to know how to get rid of cockroaches. They want to know how to get rid of fleas. They want to know how to get rid of bed bugs. They want to know how to get rid of crickets. They want to know why their exterminator is continuously spraying their house and the bugs aren't dying. It has cut into my personal life a lot. I'm a 24-hour pest control company, which means at any time of the day, if a call comes in, I have to go out and take care of the customer. Last night, I had a call, a snake job. I had to go out and deal with a snake at 9 o'clock at night. The lady was not going to be able to sleep in her bedroom because the snake was in her bedroom. So I had to go get the snake out of her room. This is just something that I do. I'm not always available to talk on the phone. So in order to kind of make it to where I can talk on the phone with you, if you have any questions at all, I've put in, and I'll put a link to below on, you can actually schedule a time to talk with me personally on the phone. Whenever someone calls my business line, I answer the phone. But that takes away from people that I can actually talk with that are local that I can go and help right away. So I hope this is I hope you guys understand why I can't take your calls anymore. But I have actually put aside a half an hour every day. If people want to talk to me more, then, maybe I can extend it to more time and open up more slots. As of right now, it's only a half an hour a day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. So if you're interested in that, like I said, the link will be below. You can click that and follow the link to that website that I set up for you guys. Also, if you're interested in information on how to actually do like bed bug work, I do have a book that I wrote with step-by-step instructions on how to do it yourself the way I do it. Also with video links and everything to try to help kind of compile everything in one area because it's something that I do. I just release videos every day, and so sometimes it gets kind of lost in the pile. I've got over 200 videos now, and just to tell people that, hey, I'm on YouTube, you could go find it, it's kind of difficult. So I do have playlists on bedbug work. I have like over 60 videos now on bedbugs alone. If you want to go and check it out, I will link the playlist below as well. So I know a lot of people who watch my channel are really interested in bedbug control. So if you're interested in that, the link will be below. So what do you do in order to do proper pest control? How do you do proper pest control? What do you need to be successful? A lot of people ask me if they need to buy the equipment that I use. Now, everything that I use is also provided in a link below, and you can click that and check and see all the stuff that I use. The tool I use that I have in a lot of my videos is called a B&G. A B&G is a specialized piece of equipment. It is a professional pest control sprayer. It's a stainless steel tank with a brass pump that you use to get yourself enough PSI in order to apply the chemical at the proper rate of application. Because if you read the labels will tell you sometimes that you need to apply so much by so many linear feet. Mostly this is for termite work, but it is something that's there. And so it says, you may need a crack and crevice. Well, how do you get the chemical to go into a crack or a crevice? A lot of times you need a jet stream type application. So you need to actually get the chemical to go into the crack. That's where the pesticide is supposed to be. If you're dealing with cockroaches, if you're dealing with crickets, you have to treat in the cracks. It's not enough just to spray the surface of an area. You need to get the chemical into the crack where the bugs live. This is how you can be effective at eliminating pest problems. A lot of people will purchase chemicals that I've said, hey, I use this or I use that. They'll use it, and then they'll wonder why it doesn't work very well, and come to find out they've been using something like a garden sprayer from like Home Depot or Lowe's or somewhere like that. And albeit this is not a horrible application, it's a very cheap application. It doesn't do the job that a professional piece of equipment can do. You get a lot of surface spray. You don't get a lot of crack and crevice spray. So the chemical won't last as long. It gets wiped away. It gets washed away. When I do roach cleanouts for, let's say, a commercial restaurant, they clean the floors all the time. They bleach the floors all the time. The chemical is constantly being removed. It is very important that you treat the cracks and the crevices and that the chemical gets inside the cracks and crevices so it's not washed away or removed. Sometimes this is an area that you might want to bait for cockroaches, like Advion or Alpine baits are good. I use lots of different baits for cockroaches, just depends on what they're immune to. And so hopefully you understand why I use or why I recommend certain pieces of equipment. Now, a B&G can cost anywhere from $250 to $350. That's a lot of money. A lot of people cannot afford that kind of money to buy a spray tank. Sometimes it's cheaper to hire a professional. I know this is a do-it-yourself channel. I try to help people do it themselves as much as I can when it comes to pest control, but there are certain parts of pest control that it actually does save you money to just hire help. When you factor in a jar, I guess it's called a jar, a container of Alpine WSG costs around $80 to $100. The B&G is anywhere from $250 to $350. So let's say like $300 in the middle range. So that's, $400 right there for just one pesticide and one spray tank. So sometimes it's just cheaper to hire a professional to do. If you've got a problem with crickets, or you've got a problem with centipedes or millipedes, or like cockroaches or something, maybe you've got seasonal roaches, maybe you don't have German cockroaches, maybe it's just roaches coming in the fall, maybe you could just get away with hiring an exterminator for 2 or 3 months. You're going to spend less than it's going to cost you to get the equipment to do the job right. It's not about doing the job, it's about doing the job correctly so that you can be effective. My channel, I was actually going over this with a friend of mine who didn't realize I did YouTube, and I explained to them, I said, the thing about my channel is that I am a channel where I try to help people do pest control effectively and safely and correctly. So for example, a lot of the things I go over on my channel are the safe and proper use of pesticide. You should read every single label. If you buy a chemical and you're going to use it around your family, around your pets, around yourself, you want to make sure you're applying this chemical properly because it is a poison. You need to understand that a pesticide should be treated as poison. A lot of people will clean their kitchen or they'll clean their bathroom with gloves because they realize that cleaners are poison and they don't want to get them on their skin. It could be corrosive, it could hurt you. So understand that pesticides should be treated with the same respect. If you are applying a chemical in your home, you need to realize that it is a poison. It should not touch your skin. You should wear gloves. You should not allow it to get into your eyes or into your mouth or on your body. And if it does, you need to wash yourself with soap and water. I hate to have to say this because most people would look at this video and say, well, he's just wasting time. But honestly, there are people that have contacted me that said they use chemicals on their body to kill bugs. That is not what you do. Unless you're advised by a doctor to put a cream or something on, don't be spraying yourself with bug spray. You're going to hurt yourself. It's not safe to put pesticide all over your body. So this is why it's important to use the proper equipment and to apply the pesticides properly because they're poisonous and they could harm you. I know a lot of the newer pesticides aren't as harmful to mammals as they used to be, like in the days of DDT, chloridane, even Durazban and diazinon are pretty harmful to mammals. A lot of the newer pesticides aren't as harmful to mammals. They're a lot safer. They still eliminate the pest, but they're safer to use around children, around pets, in restaurants, and even hospitals and psych wards and places where there's always people present, and they're safe to use. So understand that it's still a chemical. You should still treat it with respect. Also, when it comes to elimination of bugs, you need to understand that chemicals have residuals. Not all pesticides have a residual, but a residual is when you have a chemical that's non-residual or residual. What that means is a non-residual chemical is one that once you use it, the label will say maybe be out of the house for 3 or 4 hours, and then it's safe to come back in sometimes. Sometimes it'll say to wipe surfaces of any oily residue or whatever. That's mainly because the chemical is only effective for that short amount of time. A lot of chemicals that are considered non-residual are things like bug bombs or foggers. These things are chemicals that usually dissipate in the air very quickly, and by the time you're allowed to re-enter the home, this pesticide is no longer in effect. A residual pesticide is a pesticide that lasts. So a lot of times when you go into a grocery store or a Walmart or a Target or a lawn and garden center or something like that, and you're looking at the pesticides, it'll say on the label, kills bugs for 90 days. That's a residual. It means once you apply the pesticide is going to be effective for 90 days. It's going to kill bugs for 90 days. It means it's when a bug crawls across it, the pesticide is actually going to kill that bug for 90 days. That's a residual. As long as it's not washed away or cleaned away with something like bleach or something like that, then the pesticide's still going to work. Most pesticides that you buy nowadays are considered residual pesticides. Now, let me explain. When you have a problem with cockroaches or bed bugs and they don't disappear right away, the reason the chemical is designed to last for 30 days, 40 days, 90 days, whatever, it means that the manufacturers of the pesticide understand that bugs don't all disappear right away. The reason this is because sometimes bugs will hide in the cracks, in the walls, places that you can't see them. So if these bugs are in the wall and you spray the chemical's not going to kill the bugs because the bugs aren't exposed to it yet. But we understand that bugs need to eat, sleep, hide. They need harborage. They need places to live. So eventually the bugs can't stay hidden forever. Eventually they have to come out. And when they do come out, they crawl through the chemical and they die. So you need a pesticide that once applied, it's not gone immediately. It's going to actually last for several days, sometimes even a month or two. Because and also, when the bugs are in these cracks and crevices, a lot of times they lay eggs. And eggs take time. Just like a chicken lays an egg, it takes a long time for that egg to actually mature to where it cracks open and a baby chick comes out. Roaches are the same way. So if roaches go into the wall and they lay eggs, typically German cockroach eggs are, I think it's like 28 days, 29 days, something like that. They can be reduced in time. You can have them lay and they hatch sooner. You can also have them lay and have them hatch later. Most German cockroach eggs hatch on like a 30-day cycle, but sometimes they'll hatch on like a 45 or 50 days. So you need a pesticide down so that when those roaches, those babies come out and they're hungry and they're ready to eat, they're able to come out and crawl around in the pesticide and die and not have the chemical not effective anymore. So that's what a residual pesticide is. So when you treat your home, be sure to read the labels. Make sure that the chemical that you're using is for the job you need it for. Because if it is a residual pesticide, it's going to last. Understand that you might see a few bugs the longer the chemical is present. So when you first apply the pesticide is going to be at maximum strength. It's going to kill bugs for a long time, but it's going to kill bugs really, really quickly because it was just applied. 2-3 weeks from now, like if we treated the house today, in 3 weeks, the chemical's not going to be as strong as it was when you first applied it. So a bug may take a day to die, but that's normal. It's still dying from the chemical. The chemical's still killing it. You may see the bugs more readily now because it's taking them longer to die. And they're also coming out and crawling around and doing all kinds of weird stuff because they're being affected by a pesticide. Most pesticides are nerve toxins, so the bugs will come out and crawl around and stuff, and they'll do things that you normally don't see them do because most of the time a bug's natural instinct is to hide from you. When they're affected by a chemical, they'll come out and crawl around and you'll see them because they're not acting normal. And a lot of people will complain to me after I do a roach job, or even ants. Ants are really common with this. Is they're like, well, I see more ants now than I ever did. Or I see more roaches now than I ever did. You must just be spraying water. Well, that's not how chemical works. Chemical will drive the bugs out and make them do weird stuff, especially ants. Ants will come out and they'll do like little circles and curly cues. And exterminators that watch me understand this is something that happens all the time, lots and lots of times. So if you understand that this is their behavior, you'll understand the chemical is still working. The bugs are still dying, but it's taking them a little longer to die. Usually the remedy for this is if you're having problems with bugs taking longer to die, usually this means you need to step up your treatment application period. So if you're going once every other month, or you're being treated once every 3 months, and you're still having problems seeing bugs, you need to probably try to step it up to maybe once a month, once every 30 days. And you'll ask me, well, I thought you said some chemicals lasted 90 days. I should be able to go once every 3 months and save money and have the guy only come into the house once every 3 months. That's true. But if you can't tolerate seeing a bug, you may need your exterminator to come more often. And this isn't because the bugs aren't dying. It's because they aren't dying fast enough to keep you happy. But hopefully, this video has explained some things about bugs and why bugs come in the house. Why, well, not necessarily why they come in the house, but why pesticides don't deliver the effect that you expect. So if your pest guy comes in and he treats and your bugs die within, 5 minutes, that's wonderful. But in a month or so, if the bugs aren't dying in 5 minutes and they're taking maybe a day. Maybe you're still finding dead bugs around, but you're also finding live bugs. You may need a monthly pest control plan, because monthly, in my my experience, and I've got over 30 years of experience, in my experience, monthly pest control breeds the happiest customers. I go to people's homes and I ask them, have you seen the bugs today? Have you seen any ants? Have you seen any spiders? Have you seen any roaches? Have you seen anything? And most of the time, 80, 90, 95% of the time, the people say, no, I haven't had any bugs at all, because they just don't see them. They die before they're a problem to the customer. When a customer sees a bug, that's a problem. So hopefully this video has helped you understand how to do pest control effective, how you can get rid of bugs on your own by reading your labels and by following the label and by using decent equipment. If you go cheap, expect to have to deal with the problem for a longer period of time. And this goes a lot with exterminators as well. You know, if you're picking a guy just because he beat the competition by $5, well, you're not arguing over $105. You're arguing over $5. You know, if one guy comes in and he bids on a job $100, and another guy comes in and bids 105 or $95, you were going to spend $100. But this allows you to spend 95. You're really only arguing over $5. It's just $5. Sometimes paying the $5 is the difference in getting a quality pesticide that will actually last strong longer. So hopefully this video has helped you. Hopefully you understand a lot more about the pest control world. I'm going to do more videos like this because I like to be able to explain to people why things work the way they do and how things work the way they do. I like that, you know, the do-it-yourselfers that do watch my channel, I want you to be successful. I don't want you to have to call pest control. If you can do it yourself, that's wonderful. That's what I want. If you can't, call somebody. You know, sometimes it takes a professional. Sometimes you just cannot beat a man at their trade. And you guys have a real great day. I appreciate it. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you really like it, think about subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.